Welcome to the S.O.A.P.
Hey guys, welcome to the S.O.A.P. We got Mike, Aaron, Arthur, Cav, and we're going to be talking about games, movies, anything and everything in between. So Aaron is wanting to talk about Ghost in the Shell.
The live-action Western adaptation of Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson at the helm. Friday the 31st goes live in Australia. A lot of people are not overly happy with the whole whitewashing thing again. Yeah. After Tilda Swinton in Doctor Strange was meant to be Tibetan.
That's right. An old Asian chap.
Yes, an old Asian guy. Turned out to be a bald chick. But
not to mention, Scarlett herself.
Well, Scarlett, yeah, she's kind of got that dead-eyed stare that you need from a robot. So I guess maybe she'll be all right. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
She does play Black Widow in the...
Number one thing is she's a very attractive female.
Absolutely.
And,
I'm not going to Scarlett's in more things. Really.
Of course.
I do understand, it's Asian. No one's going to come out... If this was a black character, you're not going to see a white person doing blackface, are you?
No.
And yet it's perfectly okay for a white actor to play an Asian character. They did this in Cloud Atlas as well, where they Asian.
Was the anime classified as? Was it in the anime? Was the character classified as Asian?
Well, she was Japanese. I mean, if we want to break it down, she was Japanese. When she was a small girl, there was a terrorist attack or some sort of tragedy, and her mother was killed while she was still in the womb, and they took the small major away and put her in a metallic body. So she's always been a cyborg since birth, basically. She's changed up her body more than once in the anime. So, Oshi's original Ghost in the Shell, he didn't really have a problem with it because he could get away with saying, yeah, she took a Western body for a while.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, if you look at the anime, she doesn't look overly Asian, and she kind of does look a little bit Scarlett Johansson-y in the anime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, it is anime, so they don't look Asian as such.
No, but it is set in Japan, or it's meant to be.
Yes. She's supposed to be a Japanese character.
Absolutely, and Barto, her sidekick, the guy with the bionic eyes, is Dutch in this new film. So, they're not just doing the whole Hollywood thing. So maybe it's a good idea. The world in 2056 or whenever it's set, maybe more multicultural.
more Dutch.
Although
more Dutch people. Yeah.
It is set after World War III, I believe, so there's a lot of other stuff getting around. But the original anime was amazing. One of the few animes to break through in the 90s to Western success that didn't actually get dumbed down or, for want of a better term, whitewashed before it arrived. And it is seen as one of the seminal animes, and if you're an anime fan, then you will have watched Ghost of the Shell probably a couple of times, and very, very curious to see whether they actually make this any good, this movie. I mean, it looks pretty, very, very pretty, and some of the scenes are shot-for-shot remakes of the original anime, but the story isn't going to be exactly the same. It's going to be a little bit more easily digestible for American audiences, I think. Hopefully with some of the themes that were in the original Ghost in the Shell of, what is a soul, what is consciousness, all that sort of stuff, and of course the major, kicking 7 shades of ass at every opportunity, and turning invisible and wearing that skin-tight suit that we've all seen in the trailers for the new Ghost in the Shell movie with ScarJo. I'm not going to complain about those scenes, definitely not. But
yeah, I think it looks like from the trailers it looks great.
Yeah, it does.
Hard to know. I hope it actually kind of reinvigorates the whole cyberpunk thing, because that's kind of been missing for a while.
Oh, for sure.
Really,
yeah.
Well, when was the last cyberpunk film?
The last cyberpunk film or the last good cyberpunk film?
Well, let's say the popular one.
Punk's really been a thing since like the 80s, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like
Blade Runner.
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of good video games that came out here and there, just using the themes, but
Yeah.
Well, it was Johnny Mnemonic. It wasn't overly good.
No, that
It wasn't bad either.
It was okay. It was barely okay. But even that's what 20 years. That's more than 20 years old now. I'm pretty sure.
You could go Matrix. The Wachowski brothers did sort of credit Ghost in the Shell with a partial writing credit towards the Matrix. They did say it was an inspiration. So.
Oh yeah, there's definitely because the whole like Deus Ex Machina, like God in the Machine.
Yeah.
That's all taken from a particular novel by a dude named Arthur.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, I would like to see some cyberpunk back in action because it's kind of been missing. It's got taken over by steampunk, diesel punk.
Yeah.
Now, when you say let's just veer off topic a little bit here. Cyberpunk. What about RoboCop? The new RoboCop, would that be classified as cyberpunk? Like,
No,
what is cyberpunk? Really?
Cyberpunk is normally like dystopic themes with this sort of future but kind of hackerish technology. So it's almost always a dystopia that they show with like an underclass and an elite, but always with these sort of think about something like Deus Ex, the video game, which has all the themes of transhumanism and the sort of loss of the differentiation between robot and machine, where you have human beings combining machine parts into themselves. That's all. A lot of that sort of stuff is cyberpunk.
Yeah, and have you ever played the Shadowrun games? There's heaps of different.
It rings a bell.
Yeah, basically, very very similar dystopian future where the world is ruled by corporations, but magic and technology have blended together to make you can get an orc with an artificial arm or a dragon with cyber eyes. And the rich use the shadow runners or the grunts in the shadows to run around and do their dirty work. And some great books. And it's a role-playing game as well. It's just been actually it hasn't just been. There's been quite a few Shadowrun Returns games now. I think they're up to the 4th one, and they are good fun single player sort of strategy games. They're all on Steam. They're quite good.
Yeah,
that's where to go for the viewers. Viewers, go to Steam and check out some Shadowrun.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I've got them all. I'm currently churning through them. I've churned through the first 3, and I have to Shadowrun Hong Kong now.
Yep.
Plus, there's a board game too.
Yeah, and there was
and an RPG.
And an RPG, and I believe a Super Nintendo game, and an Xbox
there's a lot.
game.
There's a lot.
It's untapped, I guess. We don't see a great deal of that futuristic, science fiction-y, dystopian stuff. It's all...
You see it a bit, but it's not like...
It's not true hard cyberpunk.
What do we really see? Like, there's a few films here and there that sort of pop up, like...
What about Mad Max?
No, that's definitely not cyberpunk. Things like Dredd, probably. Like Judge Dredd.
Yep.
So there was the not fairly recent Judge Dredd movie. There was Ex Machina. If you remember, if you guys watched that film.
No, I haven't got around to it. It's on my list, actually.
Yeah, but that's the whole theme of transhumanism and man and machine. What makes a man and what makes a human, really.
What makes a man?
Well, there's a massive scene, and it's one of the most remembered scenes out of the original Ghost in the Shell, and it's where Barto and the Major go fishing in the bay in Tokyo, and they have this long chat about what it is to be human or a robot. So it'd be interesting to see whether they try and get any of that sort of theme into the live action movie. I hope they do. I hope they've made it a little bit cerebral, at least. There's nothing worse, and it's a horrible generalisation, but there's nothing worse than watching, something that's been Americanised or dumbed down. And there's just Predator lady with the big guns is gonna go beat up all these people. It's like, I don't want to watch it if that's the case.
Yeah, I think it's a theme that's sort of fallen on the wayside because it's a bit sort of future looking, and it came out of the 80s where they were like, oh, in 20 years time we're gonna live in like a cyber paradise.
Yeah.
With all this information, and none of that's really come true. and the bits that have come true, kind of this whole idea of like expanding information and everyone like becoming part of this like cyber neural network, and it's all just kind of gone, nah, that's really not what happened. People really didn't do the things that the cyber tech heads from the 80s thought would happen.
It's just
even the dystopia of the 80s cyberpunk looks hilariously quaint. Even that seems positive in comparison to what we're looking at now.
Yeah. It's all porn and videos of cats. Like, no one was ever going to predict that.
Yeah, because you just funnel your porn and videos of cats into your own little channel and ignore everything else.
But we'll hopefully bring a review of Ghost in the Shell spoiler-free next week. We'll see how that goes.
That seems like a stretch to say it's going to be spoiler-free.
Mostly spoiler-free. 90% spoiler-free.
Is this aimed at people that have seen the anime, or is this aimed at people
Well,
that
I'm going to assume
both?
the anime is assumed knowledge at this point in time. It came out in the 90s.
I haven't seen it.
Well, you should get onto that.
Yes, Mum.
There's been
Do your homework.
original movie.
Yeah.
Then there's been Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. Then there was the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, which was a 52-episode series over 2 years. Then there was the more recent animes called Ghost in the Shell Arise, which chart the young mage's sort of rise from just a soldier up to where she is today. They were a bit not as well received as the others. The second Ghost in the Shell Innocence, is seen from Barto's point of view. I won't go into why that is, but one of the other major characters disappears, so he goes looking for her, for want of a better phrase. Yeah, if you haven't seen the anime, I'd probably suggest getting onto Netflix before you go and see the live-action movie, because it will just give you a better grounding in some of the themes that hopefully they bring up in the whole transhumanist and, men Deus Ex Machina sort of.
Well, I'm gonna avoid watching the anime again because, well, I want to watch the film and then go back and watch the anime because I very vaguely remember the anime.
Oh, okay. It's one of my favourites. So it's.
It was one of those SBS staples that play every once in a while. It was like Ghost in the Shell and Akira and.
Well, yeah, it's right up there into top shelf with Akira. You ask anyone, what was your in anime in the Western world, and you'll probably get one of two answers: Akira or Ghost in the Shell.
Although mine was Evangelion.
Evangelion, I was going to say, yeah, a bit of the younger crowd, maybe Evangelion, but that's another one.
Hey. Vacations. What are you trying to say?
But even Evangelion have done a reboot now.
Well, they've done films that
we're waiting
but they
for
kind
the
of
last
changed
one.
the story around.
Well,
so.
Apparently it's what Anno wanted to do originally, but didn't have the money or the animators to do.
I feel like Anno has no fucking clue what he wanted to do.
I don't know. I just think he took some drugs one day and never came home, really.
No, he smashed together a bunch of like Western mythology, like Western religious mythology, and called it an anime series.
Yeah.
It's part of the appeal of it in the West is because all that like Christian imagery.
Yeah, and
but
he's got no idea what it's all about.
He plainly admitted that he has no clue what the mythology really is. Yeah, he just thought it looked cool.
Yeah, I love that. And I only found that out years after I watched the original one. And for years you think these deep thoughts about Evangelion going, no, this, that, no, this. And then he's like, I don't know, crosses are cool.
Well, I think there is depth in it, but
really?
It doesn't. It's not from the imagery. Like, it's not because he decided to call the first one Lilith and then the second one Adam. Like, that's not where the depth comes from.
No, the depth is... he was a master storyteller, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
And the original Evangelion, it was... I guess you could say that cemented anime in the West, really, didn't it?
Yes. Have you seen Eva Abridged on YouTube? Holy fuck, you should watch that.
Okay.
It's fucking hilarious. It's basically a dubbed version.
Oh, is it like
a comedy
the
dubbed version?
Like the abridged Dragon Ball?
It's probably by the same people.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But yeah, it's freaking hilarious.
Cool.
The new Lego game coming up. It's called Lego World. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. It's pretty much Minecraft, but Lego style. So,
Really?
Yes. Now, I never got much into Minecraft. Like, I played the game, and I was like, this is kind of crap. And so, as an adult, as a child who loved Lego, and as an adult who now still loves Lego, and I have a huge tub of it, it's going to be something that I'm going to look at getting because I like the whole idea of this, and it's about time they brought it out. Now, if you guys whoever's played Minecraft, most of the people who've got kids nowadays, everything was in a blocks type state where the characters are blocky, the enemies are blocky, the trees are blocky. It was all block, 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 block. This is actually going to have the actual characters. This is actually going to have the actual proper skeletons, proper dragons and whatnot, and you can actually build and create whatever you want in this an open sandbox world, and it's going to be hopefully quite fun. You'll be able to customize characters. You'll be able to pretty much build. You've all seen the Lego Movie where they had in the basement several different types of worlds. Now you can actually recreate that magical land in this game. You can actually do a castle land, and then you can have a mountain in the middle, and then be Legotropolis. It could be anything you want to do with this game. It has the hype of everything you want it to see in a game, which is a building sandbox game.
Yeah.
Heck, I'm excited. And then they'll have preset worlds where you can explore and this, that, and the other, but mostly I just want to make my own stuff.
Although that was the whole selling point of Minecraft, is that it's
Correct.
Lego for adults.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I play a Minecraft. Lots.
Yeah. So I saw it and I thought, hey, this is cool because it is like Lego, but then I was like, it's just blocky crap. So it wasn't Lego to me, and this is now Lego. So I'm quite excited for it.
So can you
say Lego one more time?
Lego.
Can you actually select different Lego blocks and build stuff?
Correct, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'd be like, how you get when you get a box of Lego and you just tip it all out on the floor and you've got a million and different pieces.
Correct. Yep.
So you just get in this Minecraft-esque world and then just go sick.
No. It'll be think of like if you ever ordered. Oh, none of you probably have, but anyway, when you order Lego from the shop, they'll have buttons upon buttons upon buttons upon buttons of what you want. So I'm hoping they'll do a simplified version of, I want a 2x4 brick, I want this color, and boom, let's go. And then, you go next row, and so, I mean, it'll probably be a slow thing, but once you'll get into the swing of it, just going, yep, I want a 4x4 brick, done. And then I want, the roof tile, it's going to be black, and then I want to change it to pink or purple or whatever. And then you're going to have people come in and they're going to do the little villages and stuff like that, or little apartment blocks and whatever. So you could do a heck of a lot of stuff. So the trailers are pretty fun looking on the webs and stuff. You can look through Facebook or through just Google. It's a heck of a lot of, hopefully it'll be a heck of a lot of fun. They'll be doing down DLCs and additional content further down the track.
So do you think it'd be similar in vein maybe to the the humour that's in the Lego games, like Lego Lord of the Rings or Lego Batman?
I reckon so.
Because they got some quite good writing and jokes in there. And, Batman, the Lego Batman games I have played personally, and there's a few scenes where Batman looks at you and breaks the fourth wall, and it's like, yes, very good. But I haven't seen the Lego Movie, so...
Oh, that's a good film. You should watch that.
Does it function like Minecraft, or is it more like a...
It should function very similar to Minecraft. I don't know about the whole... You've got to dig for materials and whatnot. Because at the moment, it doesn't tell you what the actual gameplay is going to entail, per se, doing buildings and stuff. It just says you can create houses and do whatever. So...
Or is it going to be like Little Big Planet style, where you just get a bunch of artifacts and you create them into levels?
Well, it'll have a brick by brick editor tool. So I think it may be the Minecraft way, where it's like how I was saying, you can creative mode and go, click and drag, whatever, options.
Yeah. When is it being released?
It should be released.
Might get my kids onto that.
Yeah. Damn it, I just lost it.
Minus 100 in technology again, mate.
Yes, I hate technology. Why am I on the show?
We need to get you one of those Ghost in the Shell web brain interfaces, so you can just be all like, "Dah," and just download it into your head.
Yeah, but then the CIA would get to him.
Well,
In the interwebs.
well, it's not actually telling me here.
While Mike looks that up, has Trump said anything stupid about the internet lately?
No, Trump says stupid things mostly about the environment.
Right.
And he's
onto the environment at the moment.
Yeah, he's signing his bills to make sure that the Earth is on track to completely be unlivable in the span of 3 decades. So,
Right.
Awesome. Thanks,
Excellent.
buddy.
Well, then we'd need the Lego to build a new world. According to this, Mike, it was released on the 7th of March.
Yeah, that's what it seems to be saying. Yes.
Oh,
Maybe-
I better check that out.
Already.
Maybe we haven't got it. Well, didn't the Lego movie, they put that back by almost 2 months in Australia, didn't they? Did anyone else see that controversy not long ago? And they did it with the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was.
7th of March, there it is.
And they did it twice, and then they wondered why it got so pirated in Australia.
Yeah.
Right.
But they said, "Oh no, we're going to put the movie back to the Australian school holidays." And everyone was like, "Well, no, we want it at the same time as the rest of the world." And they're like, "No, we'll make more money at school holidays." And then everyone went, "Well, you know what? Fuck that. Let's just torrent it." So we did, yeah. So basically, the original Lego movie was released 54 days after the US, and it was one of the most illegally downloaded films of the year in 2014. And then there was the Lego Batman movie, which was only just recently released, but they pushed that back over a month, and we were one of the only countries that didn't get it on launch day. Guess what? What do you think happened with the Lego Batman movie the day after it released?
Oh, I don't know.
It was the most torrented movie in Australia.
Surprise.
Yep. And they were bitching that, piracy was costing the company between $3.5 and $5 million in sales. And it's like, well, had you let people go and see it on the same day as everyone else, then maybe you would have made that money back.
Correct.
Boo fucking who bitches. Like, seriously. They should have
Aaron's
learned
open
from
letter
fucking
to,
Game of Thrones.
yes.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. Like, just because we're, so far away from the rest of the world doesn't mean that we're backwards.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry,
They've
Cav, go
done
on.
No, I was just gonna say they've done the same thing with what's the other movie? John Wick 2.
Okay.
It released in America back in February because I was actually looking forward to that one. I thought, oh, I'll check it out, and then when I looked into it, I believe it's not opening till sometime in April. So a whole almost 2 months.
Really?
Yeah. So I was a bit unhappy about that, but again, no surprise if people start going to pirate that one as well. That's a movie I was looking forward to.
That's the Keanu Reeves one, isn't it? Where he just kills everything.
Just kills everything, yes,
He
correct.
killed my dog, so I'm gonna kill him. Yeah. We went too far, man. Hurley.
So, yeah, the original was quite good, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, love the original, and this one also looked pretty good and got some good reviews. So I thought, worth checking out. Which should be good, obviously, but just have to wait for it, which is a pain. It's ridiculous.
I quite like John Wick. It has the fight, the way that they do the action scenes is very interesting.
Oh yeah, very, very interesting. They don't do action movies like that, unfortunately.
Well, we should be able to review that one without many spoilers. Everyone dies.
Except Keanu Reeves, man.
He probably dies too.
Oh, speaking
Well, he was
of...
going to. He would have died in the first one if he was like, I'm just going to lean against this wall, and I'm just going to die.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves and movies and dying, did anyone else see the news through the week about Warner Brothers wanting to reboot The Matrix?
Yeah, well, they wanted to do a second one, like a fourth
Yeah, they were like, no, we're not going to reboot it. After everyone got their knickers in a twist, everyone's like, you can't fucking reboot The Matrix. That'd be shit house. And they're like, no, we'll make one in the Matrix universe. It's like, yeah, nice backpedal. You were going to reboot The Matrix and put, some young starlet in there and try and cash in on it. And then everyone went,
Better
no,
not be
fuck
jello.
no. It's
What
like,
the
we
fuck
didn't
is
like
a
the last two
multi-player?
movies, but the first one made up for it. Don't do it again.
surely they ended it. Like there was, where else do they have to go except?
There's nothing else they can
Well,
do.
there was a massively an MMO released not long after the last movies. It was a short-lived MMO back in the dial-up days.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting. I was a member of it. I played for a while. It was probably my first toe in the water in a whole MMO thing. And you could either play as a Neo-style character, or you could play as an agent. And it was basically you had to capture pieces of the One. So basically, the storyline went down that Neo died, and when he died, his consciousness and his power split up all over the Matrix, and there was factions within the Matrix trying to, enslave the humans again, and you could either try and enslave the humans or try and collect the pieces of Neo to put him back together.
Yeah, interesting.
And it played for a while, and then...
You can put Neo in the Lego world.
Well, you could. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Matrix style.
Whoa.
That sounds like a very long fetch quest.
Yeah. Go here, and then go here, and then go here.
Because presumably, if they're gonna not reboot it or do a sequel, they'll do some kind of side story.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Like I'm kind of imagining them going through the scene, like the orgasm Zion orgy dance scene, and pausing at the right moment, going there, that guy, third row from the back, that's our main character. We're gonna do a story about that guy. Like, surely that's not gonna be very interesting when, like, all this important shit's happening, but we want to concentrate on third guy on the left.
I love that. That's
orgy,
funny.
Zion dancing. Like that's. Who fucking cares is what I'm saying.
But I mean, if you go with the accepted canon, there's been, 5 or 6 matrices? Yeah, we'll go with matrices.
Yeah, it is.
Matrixes beforehand, so, there could be any number of stories from, a previous Matrix.
Correct.
They could do like what was the Animatrix that they did?
Yeah, the Animatrix, yes.
Subplots? Yeah,
that's right.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Because remember how they did that in the Animatrix, so there was one video where they did the whole, how everything started.
Yes.
The whole planes going over and covering it with pollution and yada.
That was actually pretty cool.
That would be a good movie.
Although I wouldn't mind doing it from a kind of robot's point of view, like that one that you're referencing. Instead of having the main characters be humans, make them one of the programs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of stuff there to play with.
Something other than Agent Smith, though, because I feel like they spent way too much time on that fucking thing.
Yeah, they did.
How can you make a phone call when you can't even speak?
Like they loved Hugo Weaving's intonation so much that they just like, yep, we're gonna make you a major character.
That's right.
Like
even though he works better as it's
not possible.
They're like, you're fucking unsettling. Let's get more of you on screen.
Or you could do the architect and be like, ergo, therefore, first while. However,
I wanted to know how Neo didn't just punch him in the face.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
everyone else did.
The only one that thinks Smith doesn't work as like a major bad guy. Like his whole arc and the way that the role he plays in the story just doesn't work.
He's the anti-Neo. That was the point, man.
I know, but
man, whole university theses have been written on this.
Yeah,
I know. I'm sure they have. And they're probably all wrong.
I'm proud of my style, man. Well, anyway, back to the topic of the Lego Lego worlds. Tie that back in. Yeah, it's cool. It looks great. Talk to your kids. Get them. Hey, they'll probably already pestering about it and saying, "I want it, Mommy and Daddy. Buy it for me." So
it's on the Switch as well. There you go.
On the Switch as well. Yes, I read that too.
Oh, so it must be the third game out on the Switch.
Switch, correct.
Although,
another game I can buy when I finally get the Switch.
In saying that, Breath of the Wild's getting some absolutely cracking reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because being the only game on there, they're getting a really good play.
Playing it to death.
That's like it got good reviews and then it got 2 bad reviews and there was a whole controversy about the bad reviews causing its Metacritic score to go down and everyone's shitting on Jim Sterling.
And did you see the guy? I can't remember his name. Maybe I'll make a bit bigger point about it in one of the upcoming episodes. It's got the Nintendo Switch and Wii U emulator working, and he's got Breath of the Wild running in 4K.
No,
already.
I haven't seen that.
He's got an emulator already. Like, he's the guy that did the Dolphin Wii U emulator, if anyone's an emulator fan.
Yeah.
He got a massive cease and desist from Nintendo this week after he started mucking around with Breath of the Wild. Some of the videos look pretty impressive. Yeah, I'll go into that in more detail in the coming weeks. We'll do a whole emulation piece about the legalities of that, but quite funny.
Well, when I finally get the Switch, I'll do some updates on that freaking thing. And any games that I happen to buy for it, mayhaps.
But definitely a good game to keep your kids happy with the Switch in the car when you're on holidays, though.
Yeah,
You've
well,
got an AC charger for it.
hopefully, but you have to buy separately. Because of course you do.
They'll come in a myriad of colours, yes.
Yep.
No, they're all black. There is some news though in that AMD have, the kind of a throwback to when we were talking about the whole Ryzen AMD CPUs. They released their pricing for their smaller chips.
Ooh, the quad cores?
Yeah, so the quads and the 6 cores.
Okay.
And they're all pretty fucking cheap, so $169 for the 4-core 1400, which is, so it's 4-core 8 threads. So
that is
pretty competitive.
That's
so,
very competitive.
Very good.
Yeah. I mean, that's $169, I presume, US.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be more expensive here, but if it's, competitive against an equally priced, or even...
Well, that's i5 territory, really, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
i3s are all dual cores.
Yeah.
Also, I watched the Power Rangers movie, the new one.
How did you go?
Well, go
You know.
Power Rangers.
Was it, did it get you right in the childhood, or wasn't it? Or was it not too bad?
A little bit. They changed up the characters a little bit, as every movie, redo does. Yeah, so it was a little bit. So at the very start, spoiler alert, you had the story of the previous Power Rangers and them being killed, and you had the bad chick, and then that was that, and then it pops up to these, teenagers, and it tells the story of the teenagers and yada yada yada, and they all end up in detention, and so they're not, and then a couple of them make friends. They go to this place, the others meet them there, and such, and they find. The little power, the rings or whatever they want to call them, the coins and stuff. Like, this is back in the day from old school where, you had your, they had the belt things and you could, little coin belt things, whatever they did.
What about the head in the aquarium?
Yes, well, that's changed completely. Well, it's still a head in an aquarium, but...
It's just Bryan Cranston's head.
Yeah, it's Bryan Cranston's head in this weird think of, like, the Man of Steel, where it's like this kind of hexagonal... oscillating kind of big screen. Like, he's just, it sometimes you just hit your head and go, what the fuck am I watching? And then there are parts where it's like, oh, it's the Power Rangers, oh my god. It was good and it was not good. It's a bit of a mixer, really.
It had big robots, though, right?
It had, yes.
There you go.
So you had your Zoids, so that was kind of cool because you could saw that there's you've got to morph into your suits, and they're like, how do we morph into our suits? And the dude's like, you just do. And it's like, okie dokie, and so it kind of feels like. So when they morph into their suits, it's quite cool. You've got this whole, it's within the skin, and so the skin turns over to be like a hardened, scaly kind of techie suit. You've got the Zoids come out, and they're all learning how to pilot it, and then it, has the big battle between the big monster guy and then the Megazord. And that's quite weird because they just magically joined together without going, like back in the day it was... Power Rangers unite, and they're like, Sabretooth Tiger coming in, and you're like, yeah, cool, they're all connecting up. And this was just like, bing, bazinga, we're together. You're like,
I don't think they could do that again because
I know.
Like, I don't think a modern audience would look at it and go, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a poorly shortcut that they did to make it like they fell into this whole thing, and then boom, out they come as the Zord.
That's
no, what's It was just
That's
silly.
not right. Yeah.
That's not right. So they could have done it better. They could have had a button saying transform, and one guy's like, what does this button do? And then pop, we're all transforming. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Not just this magical, we're all, we're going to die, and then Megazord, and
I'm just imagining that going horribly wrong, where they accidentally press it when their foot's in the wrong place. And
Yeah,
it gets,
exactly.
like, chopped off, and they slowly bleed out as they're inside the thing. And
Again.
I don't know what you're watching, but that's not cool, man. It's
very
not cool,
dark
all right?
Power Rangers.
Not cool.
Well, yeah, I kind of had the
Becomes
same
a
thought
solemn
when
story.
Spike was running around in Bumblebee and Bumblebee had transformed. And
Yeah,
like, where'd
yeah.
he go? And, he flings out into
right.
the air and then Bumblebee catches him. It's like, what if Bumblebee fucks up? And misses
Wasn't there
to
a
catch
fucking
him? Or...
little YouTube cartoon thing on? I think it was on
Probably.
Newgrounds where they
Yeah.
had that, and they accidentally transformed with a human still in him, and he's like, "Oh,"
Ouch.
and he like pulled out this like mangled mess of just giblets.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
well,
saying with that, how did Optimus Prime know how to squeeze just enough to hold a human when he's not really held a human before? He could have squeezed a bit harder and then popped the human.
Yeah.
And he'd go, bah! And you're like, oopsies. I'll just put that down.
No, but he's
I'm
Optimus, though. Like, he can do
He
anything.
just knows.
He just
Yeah,
knows.
he
Didn't
yeah.
show the failed
The
attempt.
internet, yeah.
Yeah.
The World Wide Web. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, it was a good film. It's worth a watch, with the kids even. You've got your typical, your cast of your teenagers, and they, it's kind of, the first half feels like a drama show unfolding, where the characters, they're not perfect, and yada, 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 they're going to work as a team, and you're like, I just want to see you kick some ass. And so they've got to, so it's obviously going to work up to the next film. Because
Yeah, well, it's an intro film. Like,
yeah,
it's a
the
film-
last half hour was where the action was, and the first, part was just their character story and them finding the crystal and the ship and the Zordon and going, hey, we're Power Rangers, which was not too bad.
So it is definitely a setup for a whole series
yeah,
of it then.
yeah, I imagine so.
The whole thing. The only thing I'd say is that like the whole thing feels a bit contrived, and it's a bit like grasping at the last straws of nostalgia that they can pull out of anywhere. I mean, it's just like it's aimed presumably at
Us.
people that remember, us,
the 90s kids,
Sure.
yeah.
But then, like, I looked at the trailer and I'm like, this appeals to me absolutely zero. Because yes, it's this like nostalgic throwback, but there's nothing in there that makes me go, yeah, that seems like it would appeal to a 31-year-old asshole. You know?
Which is what you fed under.
My cynicism
you've also got the new
automatically
kids
goes,
too.
Oh, fuck you! Like
New kids.
Yeah. They're trying to sort of do both, and
Yeah.
it all just feels kind of contrived. And
Well, yeah.
I don't know. It's like when they did what's a stupid, shitty Johnny Depp in a funny hat film that was a
What's it?
Lone Ranger?
Lone Ranger.
Oh.
What the fuck was that supposed to appeal to? 85-year-olds that were for some reason going to go to the movies?
Yes.
Like that's how it kind of goes. It's sort of like who is the audience meant to be for this thing? Because
That's right.
I know you went to watch it, but like there's something about it that just makes me go, no, just piss
No,
off. Stop
just
trying
stop
to trying to appeal
Ruin the
to
childhood.
nostalgia
Yeah. Well,
and make something
It's true.
fucking original.
well, like same thing with Ghost in the Shell. The new kids these days wouldn't know the anime. They only know the movie, such as with the Marvel and your DC, where it's the comic book fans versus the movie fans. So it's all
Hmm.
There's been a big. It's actually quite interesting with the whole Marvel comics. At the moment, the comic book department is suffering with terrible sales because everything is focused on the movies.
Yeah,
Whereby-
and even comics they've started to change comics to match
Yes.
movies,
Correct. Correct.
to add on to the movie, to make that a selling point. Hey, if you go see this movie, we'll give you a comic book. You're like, yeah, thanks.
What was their last big twist where Captain America turned out that he's been working for Hydra all these years?
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's in the comics, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But didn't Chris Evans say that he wouldn't mind actually playing that storyline?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, who knows?
But it's funny though, isn't it? Like Marvel's movies are doing really, really well, and now their comics are failing. And then you look at DC, and the movies aren't doing as well.
Yeah, it's the opposite for
But
DC.
their comics are still, and I mean, their animated.
Yeah.
Their animated movies are
Yeah.
off the chain,
they're brilliant.
We've just
Wait, so
had-
you're saying that DC Comics are doing well, but Marvel
Yes,
Comics
that's the other thing I was gonna say.
Yeah.
DC Comics are actually doing very well.
I
at the
was
moment.
gonna say, like, surely comics
Well-
is kind of a niche market.
Well, no, Batman sells itself, really.
That's very
Am I
surprising.
the only one to say that?
I
See, I never.
Batman
particularly-
sells.
The only
Sell
Batman
me.
that appealed to me was Batman the Animated Series Batman.
Yeah.
Apart from
Yes.
that side, the rest of it sort of flew over my head. Like,
Mm.
the comics that I was attracted to were not the traditional superhero.
Wait a minute. Well, I've got most of the Batman animated films, so you know.
Yeah, you got, you know, and Frank Miller did,
Dark Knight
Dark
Returns.
Knight
1 and 2.
and Killing Joke.
Oh my god.
They were so good.
Will you remember that?
And the animated adaptations were pretty much page for page. And that that gave me the shits a little bit when they did Killing Joke.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
I digress a little bit, but,
Yeah.
you know, they didn't really need the Barbara Gordon stuff at the start, but I understand why it was there to add a little bit more runtime to the movie and to give you a bit of an emotional attachment to Barbara when the Joker does steal her. But everyone was like, "Oh, but the ending was shithouse." Like, and it's like, obviously you've never read a fucking comic book in your life, because that thing was frame for frame the
Yes.
exact comic book. And there was a lot of people going, "Oh, it was shit. It was horrible, and the ending was crap." And it's like, no, it's the best ending ever. Did he kill the Joker? Didn't he kill the Joker? We'll never fucking know. It was amazing.
He didn't, because I shared a joke.
Yeah, but the Joker
Remember?
stops laughing at the end, remember?
Oh, well, yeah, because it fades to black, yes.
Maybe. I've always
Yeah.
found that ending really ambiguous and really
Yeah.
really thought-provoking. It's what Frank Miller does, though. He's fucking weapon.
Yeah,
that
he is.
guy.
Batman will never tell.
And I may or may not be sitting here doing this podcast in my Batman pajamas as well.
Oh.
But anyway, I'm
Speaking of
Batman
which,
fans unite.
yes. Speaking of which, obviously, did you guys check out the trailer for Justice League?
Yeah.
yes.
I have, yes.
Looks very nice. Looks very nice.
Everything is looking good. So I'm hoping they've learned from their mistakes and they're going to actually make a decent movie out of
Yeah,
it.
but they're not going to have.
Well,
Yeah,
let's just drop all our expectations to like,
I think
that's the best way to go. I
I
think.
think we're all going to be
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised by Wonder Woman as well.
Yeah.
Do you really think there's a good film coming out of that side?
I think it's
Oh, yeah.
it's basically going to be very, very story light and just action heavy, and I for one support that. Let's stop with the DC talkies and let's just have them kicking ass for an hour and a half. With
That's what we want to see.
with like a very, very thin plot line, and it looks like Wonder Woman's just going to come into the world to go and punch Hitler, and that's enough of a bit of story.
I'm with
my
I
friend.
am with that. Yeah.
Wait. Wasn't it World War One? She was the storyline was.
Oh,
Yes.
she's so good. She's going to
So
punch
the-
Hitler from World War One.
That's all the way to World War Two.
I mean, Hitler was in World War One.
Yes,
Well, yes,
yes.
but as a puny corporal,
Yeah.
But no,
nobody.
But she
cares
could have easily
about him.
punched him, and then he's like, "I will get you."
I won't get this. My revenge.
But no, I'm hoping we were all pleasantly surprised by Wonder Woman, and then Justice League actually is pretty good.
Isn't what's his name coming? Jason Momoa and
Yeah, he's coming
It,
after the first
Yes.
Justice League.
Yeah.
So we're getting Wonder Woman, then Justice League, then Aquaman, then the Flash.
Yeah, I must admit, Aquaman looks badass in that in the trailer. I think he looks better than I thought he would look.
well, I love Jason Momoa, so I kind of just want to watch
Correct.
it because it's Jason Momoa. But I
Yeah.
don't know if I expect the film to be any good.
Oh, I'm probably gonna disappoint myself, but I've got some decent hopes for it.
Yeah,
Well, they were saying one reviewer or critic or whatever saying that Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller or
Miller.
whatever his name is,
Yeah.
they will be more of the like a bit of a comedy, bit of make a few laughs, and will contrast to Wonder Woman and Batman being so dark and gloomy. So that hopefully should balance out the team a bit more.
Yeah, well, they needed to be a bit lighter than, say,
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman. That was just too dull and boring. Yeah.
Do you bleed? Yeah, let's not have
My
that
mother's
for like,
name is Martha.
for like 4 films.
If you watch the extended cut, that's not as grating as it is on the theatrical cut. I still think it's bad plot device, but it's not as bad if you watch the 900-hour-long version.
Mummy.
But I mean, if they were to go back to the Dark Knight graphic novels, if they were gonna make that graphic novel, they should have just done it from start to finish, rather than pick and choose and put some of it into a movie.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion.
They could have just, done a decent film. That's
Well,
good
yeah.
Yeah, you asked too much, Arthur. You asked too
Yeah,
much.
I clearly do. I had this exact conversation with Andrew when we were doing a Logan review. And we're basically like, this just
Asked too
one
much.
good
Stop
fucking
asking for
film.
too much.
Just
Anyway,
one.
We could go all night on comic books and graphic novels, being the nerds that we are. But how about I set a cat amongst the pigeon and drop the S word, Starcraft.
Oh yes, that's a good S word. I was hoping you'd say that and not shithouse. Yeah, so that's the thing that's happening. StarCraft is being remastered. StarCraft 1, obviously, is being remastered.
Oh, StarCraft 1?
Yeah,
Tell me
yeah.
more.
Yeah, well... you
Hev
think I
doesn't
meant StarCraft 2.
I think in StarCraft 2, what are they going to do with that? Right? Yeah.
No, so they're gonna update the graphics. It's not like a massive shift. It's
Yeah,
pretty,
that's okay.
from what they've revealed so far, it's pretty minor stuff. But I suspect if it sells reasonably well, it'll be nice to see some of their other older games remastered. I wouldn't mind seeing a Warcraft 3 and a Warcraft 2
Yeah.
remastering, and Diablo 2 would be nice as well. And a proper Diablo 1 remaster, not like the one they did in...
That one, they did a crap one, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, which is essentially just a patch, and it wasn't that great. So, come on, Blizzard, do your thing. Maybe go back and remaster fucking Lost Vikings and
Yes, yes, please.
Oh, Lost Vikings.
Blackthorn.
Oh, Blackthorn, that was awful. It was bloody hard. I think that was the reason I didn't like it.
Alright. But it was fun to, like, I love the little mechanic of hiding in the shadow, and then popping out to shoot a dude, and then hiding in the shadow, popping out to shoot a dude. Like, that was, I don't know, I really enjoyed that game. But I love Lost Vikings as well. I'm a fucking...
Lost Vikings, I love that game. I played it for hours and hours and hours. I love that game.
I think when I first saw the little Lost Viking Easter egg in World of Warcraft, I think I was just overjoyed for like an hour. I just sat there staring at it with like a giant gleeful smile on my face. So it's the little things. It's the little things. Yeah, so StarCraft 1 remastered's happening, and at this point there's not really a whole lot of detail, so... But it'll be obviously coming to both Mac and PC.
Yep.
And it will scale to 4K, which is nice for anyone that cares about that. You know, it'll be fine. There's a video you can watch. You can find the information on Ars Technica and a bunch of other places that release it. Primarily, it's a unit. Like, the big difference seems to be the units. So they've been altered with higher res graphics and make sure that the resolution scales properly and things like that. The background is pretty much the same. There's maybe a few minor tweaks, but nothing that major. And it's hard to tell at this point if there's any like tweaks in terms of the actual gameplay. I would assume probably not, but yeah, it's exciting for anyone that cares about StarCraft and sort of has nice and positive memories and sees the little units up close and actually look like something other than a mass of pixels.
Pixel. Brilliant. No, I'm looking forward to that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd be curious if there's this like kind of in my head. I'm going, I wonder whether it's possible that if they do it so well that it actually usurps StarCraft 2 from the
That would be interesting.
the e-game scene, because a lot of people say like StarCraft 2 is a bit of a nightmare when it comes to e-games, like esports, because of how difficult it is to learn. Especially considering it's like a RTS in the age of MOBAs.
Yeah.
So there's this sort of throwback to StarCraft 1, which I don't think StarCraft 2... I mean, it's popular, but I don't think it hit the level of popularity that StarCraft 1 ever did.
Oh, in
terms
Korea.
of its
In Korea it did.
A bit. I mean, I think StarCraft 1 is still popular there too.
Yeah,
so
I think it's
it'd be
still a
interesting to
national
see.
sport.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So we'll see how we go, but that's sort of a interesting little side note. But we'll see how it goes, and my hope is that if it does well, as I said, you know, we'll get some Diablo, we'll get some Warcraft 3, because I don't really see Warcraft 4 coming, so this would be a nice little change instead. See like a Warcraft 3 remastered.
Just an interesting side note on that. The original Starcraft is now free.
Yeah, they're exactly, they've included it with all that stuff.
You can just download it straight from Battle.net now.
Yeah. Which again is quite... Well, I want them to actually have Warcraft and all those games all chucked. I would like them to have all their old games on there for free, if they can.
Yeah.
Although, and funnily enough, Battle.net, they're apparently changing the name.
Yes, they have changed the name of it.
Yeah, so it's no longer Battle.net, because they want to get rid of that whole...
Yeah, a bit disappointed with the nostalgic side of things, because I remember using the Battle.net like back in the days when I was playing the old Diablo and Diablo 2 and all that stuff. It used to be a cool little setup. Back then I can't even remember if there was anything like it at all, or
No.
nothing I used anyway.
Yeah, all the other platforms in comparison were so fucking shitty. Like, you
Yeah.
compare it to something like Microsoft, for games for Microsoft or whatever that was, and remember GameSpy had their own platform, if you guys remember, ages ago, but just barely functioned. Battle.net was a fucking dream in comparison.
Oh yeah, definitely. So,
So what
I
are
mean,
they changing the name to?
no, they're just calling it Blizzard. So
Okay.
yeah,
Just
so they
with the Blizzard app.
correct. So the app itself, which is basically you have all your games installed on there, and you can access all your games on it. They used to call it the Battle.net app, I suppose.
Mhm.
You got access to all your games there: Warcraft, Hearthstone, Starcraft 2, Diablo, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, and whatever. There, it's still the same interface, but they've just changed the name of it.
Yeah.
And the whole branding.
I guess in many ways, Battle.net, the current version of it is quite different to what people associated with it before.
Correct. It's nothing to what it used to be. It's
Yeah, like
completely
people
different.
complained actually about Battle.net 2.0 when that whole
Yeah.
thing went live. It was missing a lot of features that people were used to with the
Correct.
standard
Yes.
Battle.net. But saying that, like, it's still Blizzard, and I'm still a fucking fan. I don't know what it would require for me to really hate them.
That is so true. I play so many of their
Maybe, like,
games.
if they come out and say they're like cannibal Nazis from planet somewhere and eat a live baby on television, I'd probably consider unsubbing.
Probably. Like, yeah, you take the bad with the good. It's all good. Like, we can't all be saints.
No.
And that's still probably justify it, and like, nah, but you know, the baby probably deserved it. You know. There's
No, the
probably a
baby was
mutant
gold
baby.
farming on World of Warcraft. Fuck it. Just selling shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
He was like a hacker baby.
Yeah.
Arthur, did you have any other board game to tell us about?
Well, I kind of was thinking about it, and I don't want to sort of bang on too much because I feel like I already did last time, so... I'll mention a game that I'd probably suggest is a good... It's a good kind of first game, but also it's not so... Like, it's both simple, but also mechanically interesting. And it has good social interaction. So if you want me to go on about it, I totally will.
I think you should.
Okay, so the game is called Tammany Hall. It's basically a... I was going to say worker placement, but definitely not that. It's an area control game. And it's set in the 19th century in New York, in Lower Manhattan. So Tammany Hall is a famous political machine. They're kind of famous for being fat and corrupt and
Is it
terrible.
called Gangs of New York style? Gangs of New York
Yeah.
style?
Yes, well that's exactly. So if you remember in Gangs of New York, the Jim Broadbent character,
Yep.
It's like, yes, welcome on to Tammany Hall. Let's go to Tammany Hall.
yeah. So that's part of that political machine, and they were pretty powerful for like, you know, half that century plus a bit more into the 20th. They were a major political power and political force in New York. but also being corrupt fat cats. So in the game, you are one of these people, and the mechanics are pretty simple. So the area of Lower Manhattan is split into zones, and you're trying to control those zones. But mechanically, you only have 2 actions a turn. You can either bring in an immigrant. So there's 4 types of immigrants in the game, which is the Italians, the English, the
Irish.
and
Gotta have the Irish.
Germans,
That's
I believe.
right.
And you gain political favor for those groups, which you can then use later in the game, secretly. Or you can bring in, so you can either bring 2 immigrants and gain political favor, or you can bring 1 immigrant. Oh, sorry, no, it's you either bring an immigrant and a boss, basically character, that you place on the zone, or you bring 2 bosses. And you go through this period of bringing them in, and that's all the actions you could basically do on your turn. And then at the end of 4 rounds, you have an election. And the election is secret bidding, and the game encourages you to basically lie to your friends to become mayor of New York. And you do this using the political favor tokens that you pick up from bringing the immigrant groups. So in the zone that you have a boss and immigrants that you have political favor with, you can then secretly bid them. But you can sort of play around with it. You can say, look, if I'm not going to contest this zone, and go, I'm only going to bid 2 political tokens. But then, because it's a secret bid, you can pull out 5 and win. And if your opponent believes you, you basically dick them over. Of course, you don't want to do that too early, because... And if you're making kind of alliances on the table, but then also backstabbing people to win, like there's this whole that interaction with it. It plays up to 3 to 5 players, but it works better with more players because of that kind of interaction. Mechanically, it's really simple, but the complexity comes from that interaction and figuring out who's lying, who's not lying. There's a bit extra with it where you have 3 black chips, which are slander. They're called slander tokens. So you can use them to kick people out of certain zones if you have enough political power in those zones. And then you get bonuses later on after the election if you favor certain immigrant groups, if you have the most in certain immigrant groups. And the other cool thing is that the way that the game works is that the person that becomes mayor scores more points. But then he has to give political offices to his opponents. And the political offices would be things like the police commissioner. And the police commissioner will have a power where he gets to beat up a bunch of immigrants and kick them out of a zone, pretty much. The thing is that you have to give them to the people that presumably would suck being those powers the most. So this weird thing where like the corruption of politics is really well, particularly of that era, is kind of really well, very thematic for the actual game, even though the game is pretty simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, mechanically it's not too far removed from something like Risk, where you have like a bunch of zones you control a bunch of dudes on. But there's a lot more interaction with people and figuring out how to dick over your opponents in secret, or maybe not so in secret. So yeah, it's reasonably easy to get. It gets reprinted every once in a while. It's by a company named IDW Games, and it was originally a Kickstarter, and it became very popular. And it's not very expensive. It's a sort of in the 50 to 60 range, even in Australia, because the components aren't like fancy miniatures. They're basically just cubes and chits and really simple stuff. But that's kind of the beauty of it. It's really easy to sell as well, and it's not very long. So you're talking about 60, 90 minutes maybe, and it's a lot of fun. So it's a good first experience into modern board gaming, particularly if you like backstabbing your friends.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It's one of my, from that genre of games, in particular Area Control, it's probably one of the best you can get, because it's very focused and doesn't have too much other crap happening. You can kind of look at the board and go, okay, this is the position I'm in. This is what I need to do to win. This is who the person I need to lie to, dick over, or the person I need to ally with. And again, the game encourages you to make deals. So you can say to the police commissioner, you kick these immigrants out of this zone, won't contest this zone so you can control it. All the while keeping the idea that you can backstab them, and that's totally fine. That's in fact encouraged by the game. but also keeping in mind how to win and when to use your political power.
So you just what? You can just buy that from the normal game shops and stuff like that?
Yeah, you should be able to. So I'll do a quick check. So there's a website called boardgamesearch.com.au. Basically is an aggregate of results from different online websites. So you can search for anything pretty much on there. And it's Australia Board Game plus Amazon, which delivers some of them. So as an example, Unhalf Bricking, which have it in stock, so they're Australia based, and it's $70 at the moment. Big Game Theory has it for $65, $64.99. You can even get it apparently in Amazon for $41.29 USD, although the exchange rate's probably reasonable at the moment, so you can get that. So it's sort of in that kind of price range. It's not super expensive, like it's not in the $100 giant miniature category, but it's a good kind of first intro, and it's priced reasonably enough that you're not gonna have too much of a problem. The only issue is, of course, it's minimal, really 3 players, so yeah, it's really not suitable. I mean, the game has no option to play it as a 2-player game, and from the way that the interactions work, it wouldn't really function all that well anyway. But that's really the only negative thing I can say about it.
Cool.
Brilliant. The new patch for Warcraft, World of Warcraft, came out this week, 7.2. So I've been playing a little bit of that.
Is it just fixes, or are there new areas, or?
Oh no, just lots of content, lots of new areas, lots of new content. It's the biggest content patch they've done. Well, other than the expansions themselves, but it's the biggest content patch they've done ever.
Okay.
So lots and lots of stuff in there.
Ninja Pandas.
Oh yeah. Now I haven't actually played much because I've been so busy, but I might actually play it this weekend. I was meant to go camping, but I'm feeling sick, so yeah, not gonna make that camping trip. Now, no,
I mean,
my wife broke her hand, so she can't do much at the moment. So I have to be an assistant for a little while, helping her out and everything. So pretty much not doing much at all this weekend, just helping. But yeah, I'll see if I can find myself some time to play that game a bit.
Yes, please. Also, I haven't looked on purpose because I don't want to resub, actually. But
Don't
really,
do it.
You're selling it to me here.
No, it's actually, yeah, no, look, I'll give it to you. It is pretty cool, but I just haven't had time to play with it, so I can't vouch for it yet.
Here from the podcast crew, we're saying goodbye and good night. Thanks for listening to the SOAP, and we'll catch you guys.